Greetings. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on this beautiful blue-green planet. My name is Elaine Ra, and I'm here to share a few things with you today. And I'd like to talk about manifestation. I'd also like to talk to you about how at this point where we're living now, that things are really coming into tangible form. The veils are becoming thinner. We're actually literally straddling two worlds. So we're able to experience this 3D material world as well as fourth and fifth dimensional realities. And the conduit is, of course, the human body. And the human body is actually connecting with these various realms of reality, and they are actualizing within our thoughts and our memories an actual manifestation of certain things. For example, whatever you put your mind to, whatever your intention is, and most particularly, which is what a lot of people don't often consider, isn't necessarily what the thought is, but what the sponsoring thought is. So in other words, the emotion and the energy that is backing a particular impulse or a particular thought that is requiring some sort of action or manifestation in the world. So for example, if you want change in your relationships, and the sponsoring energy behind that is that of lack, or that of unworthiness, or that of self-pity, then you're more than likely going to create a situation that the energy that's holding that experience is going to be based on lack, unworthiness, and self-pity. And that might play itself out in the way in you experiencing that yourself, or creating someone in your life who has that. So you may create that new relationship, but at the same time you will have these dynamics. So it's really important before you make an intention to be aware that of your inner vortex and what your inner energy is holding, what that energy holding is within you, so you don't create a situation that you don't want, or you're actually trying to heal at this particular time and space. At this point, whether we like it or not, it's really, we are discovering that whatever our intention is, whatever it is that we're trying to create, whether consciously or unconsciously, is being presented to us sometimes within minutes, sometimes within hours, sometimes within days. So we know them to be true. Okay? So they're made to be tangible. And we're experiencing incredible things, particularly if we're in alignment, if we're in a heart-centered alignment to what it is that our soul is really calling for. And as it manifests within minutes, or within hours, or within days, we are being shown now that we are moving into a place where we really are the creators of our own reality. And it's being reflected back to us experientially in a tangible form, so we can know it to be true. And it's really important, because this is going to continue to happen, not just on an individual level, but on a collective level. So whatever we feel within ourselves, whatever we believe to be true, whatever intention we have, whatever ambition we have, we're no longer able to get away with not taking responsibility to what the sponsoring thought or energy or feeling or field behind that manifestation is. So in other words, we have to take into consideration how we're feeling, our feeling realm, as well as our mental realm, when it comes to manifestation. And it's going to be reflected in terms of time scale, when things are actually brought into manifestation, is now so quick. which means that there's no room for you can't put those blinkers back on and say you didn't see that, you didn't hear that, because it's now staring us in the face. And as I said, we so now need to be taking responsibility for all of that, to be the creators of our own realities, because so many people are making reference to co-creating, and it's time that we go out there and we start co-creating and fixing the problems out there. But it all starts within us. As I've also said, that prior to the end of the 21st of December 2012, there was all these ideas of what may or may not happen out there in the world, in terms of cataclysms or earth changes, etc. But all these areas are happening within us. And I know that the world is really experiencing some extreme forms of weather in terms of rainfall, water, and cold and snow. And, just bear in mind the symbol of Aquarius, which is it's actually an air sign. So it's to do with the mind and the thoughts and the stream of consciousness and manifestation. But it's also symbolically someone holding a jar or a pot with water pouring out. So it is the washing away of the old, the clearing away of the old. It's a new way of being. It's a new way of, it's washing away the programming and the conditioning. So washing away the sleep from our eyes, this amnesia, so we can actually really begin to realize experientially, without a shadow of a doubt, that we are creating everything moment by moment. And this is a gift to hold. Every moment is a gift. Living in the now, being in the present, that's the term, the present is a gift. And from moment to moment, we're able to create our reality. We are creating our reality. And by living in the now, we actually realize that it's not a linear timeline. It's living in this eternal moment of now. And it is a mindset. It is we're moving more into a wider concepts, more of an abstract, whereby we are embracing, I've also been talking about the light and the shadow and the masculine and feminine energies, yin and yang, but we're also now, as we move or allow ourselves to be taken into these wider realms of reality and streams of consciousness, fourth, fifth dimensional states, this takes us into invisible realms. And there are streams of consciousness that comes through the fifth and fourth, which are giving us tangible, without question, evidence, so we know that these real realms exist. Okay, and this is really important that we are given this, just like children. If you are trying to convince a child that of something that they have not had experience in, then you will take them gradually and you will make sure that they feel at ease, and as you guide them through the process, you will be showing them tangible evidence of what the aim is and what the gifts are by living a certain way or learning new ways of being. And this is kind of what's happening now with many of us. We're learning to trust, and we're really learning to open up to this vaster realm of manifestation, that we are being looked after. I personally try my best not to tap into conspiracy theories. I have done that before, and I realise that just hooks one into smaller realms of reality and therefore manifestation. Doom and gloom, pointing the finger at someone else, which really is not helpful. like I said in my last podcast, what we need to do is move beyond our prior limits of acceptance or compassion or love. So to move beyond any limits that we thought we had, and quite often we're not even aware that there are limits there, because somehow we've created or set up situations whereby we don't have to move beyond those because we've set them up in that way. What is happening for a lot of people, though, nonetheless, is that as we expand and as we grow, we are the relationships or the situations that had been safe for all that period of time are now falling away. And they're falling away so we can expand in consciousness. From any situation, from moment to moment, the question we need to be asking ourselves, who do you choose to be now? Who are you now? Right? What are you going to do now in this situation? Okay, so it's a form of self-inquiry in a way. So you may set yourself up, you may be in a situation, in a way maybe we are setting ourselves up to have certain experiences where you may be confronted with someone or confronted with an aspect of yourself. And I truly believe whatever we experience on the outside, we are actually experiencing what's been triggered as an aspect of ourselves. So we're being confronted with ourselves all the time. So the question is, who do you choose to be right now? Are you going to react and project back? Are you going to sit back and sit clearly and be aware of what belongs to you and what doesn't belong to you? Are you going to secretly condemn someone while smiling in their face? Are you going to be clear? And there's no right or wrong in this. And even if that is what's happening, just to be conscious of the fact that that's happening is often enough for you to break that chain of behavior. And these are quite often shadow behaviors. And as I've said right from the beginning, from doing these podcasts, that all these behaviors that we often personalize for ourselves are actually part of the collective human condition. And none of us have rights over certain behaviors or certain conditions. You know, we don't have sole rights over them. They belong to all of us, which is a wonderful opportunity for us to take to lighten up and not to take things so personally. I've also really, ever since I was a child, I've looked at what is it that we have in common. And duality and the world is very competitive, and it's like, what is different about you? You know, what makes you better or worse? And these are, you know, formats for separation and competition. Competition, people say that's healthy, but it really depends what kind of competition that is. If it's based on a false premise or an aspect that is simply materialistic and it's not connected with the other with other areas of what it means to be human, like who you are as an emotional being, or who you are as a soul being, or a physical being, or an intellectual body, then, you know, if it's just one area, then it's out of balance with the whole, and that kind of competition is unhealthy because it encourages people to identify to being, like if you're a guy, to have a big body, you know what I mean? Because that way, you know, if I've got a big body and all muscled up, then no one's going to mess with me. But underneath that, there might be this shriveling little person who is in dire straits and just covered up with this buff body, pumped up with steroids or whatever. So in other words, we really, you know, whatever happens now, we really need to look at the whole picture. And let's really expand into that. Pay attention to what you're manifesting in your life. What is really going on? You know, For those people who are having new experiences, like I feel as if I'm having new experiences all the time, and a real sense of well-being, to your what is vortexing from the core of who you are outwards is a state of well-being. It's always a state of well-being. So before you make any commitment to anything or go with anything, just tune in to yourself and see whether that is in alignment with your core sense of well-being, And, there is no data that really shows that we're all the same. And what works for one person may not work for another person. So the kind of relationships that we are now having with ourselves and with other people have to be completely from a different perspective now, completely open and expanded. So you can be free-flowing, like the fountain of love, or the fountain of life that is free-flowing without someone trying to take from your fountain, unless it's part of the overflow, and it's something that you're offering to another person. This is really our sovereignty here, that we are all sovereign beings, and the quality of our relationships will change inevitably as we really allow ourselves to be free. And like I've been saying, this is freedom time. There's no point in ending a relationship or having a relationship end and go through all the deep healing and and parts of yourself falling away, just dismantled. That's the word I was looking for, to be put back together again, to end up going into another relationship that is based on attachment and the small I am. What's the point of going through all that healing? So for those of us who have gone through that sort of thing and we're going into a new relationship, let us introduce ourselves as we are right now. Let us not play those games, you man, me woman. So, whatever your programming that happens to be, that you happen to have, that you're not playing that out again. So you're not a victim, or you're not trying to have power or control over someone, or simply play through the roles of your genders, that there should be no agenda, actually, that we should really be able to sit in the presence of someone, lay a spiritual table, and completely enjoy this representation of God, Goddess. The presence of God, Goddess within that individual, and that flow of God, Goddess that happens between two people. That is what we are being summoned to do, not to be attached to the hip or to project each other's stuff on each other. So we can really be in this beautiful flow, to be these magnificent shiny mirrors, to reflect and refract each other's light and love. So I leave this with you. My name is Elena Ra. This is Freedom Time. It's time to love yourself completely. We just had Valentine's Day, and there's this beautiful line in My Funny Valentine, and it says, each day is Valentine's Day. Do not wait till next Valentine's Day to love yourself or to love another. Each day is Valentine's Day. Be in that space of love always. Okay, my name is Elena Ra. It's such a pleasure to be here. It's a gift for me to share these podcasts, and I look forward to connecting with you again. I see the God in you. Keep on expanding. Namaste.